and welcome to Boarding All Captains, the Study Abroad Office's official podcast at CNU. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode with Cheyenne Plear. Cheyenne, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, where you studied abroad, and just your major, minor, and any involvements you have on campus?
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. So I am a communication major.
Okay, me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. And I am a health, medical, and wellness minor.
Wow.
The involvements I have on campus is I'm an RA, so I'm involved with resident life.
Cool.
And I also am in a fraternity called Alpha Phi Omega, which is a co-ed community service fraternity. So I do that as well.
Cool. And then, so where did you study abroad?
So I studied abroad with the CNU faculty-led, and it was exploring the origins of totalitarianism. And we went to Nuremberg as well as Berlin.
Very cool. And so how long were you on the trip for?
So it was roughly about 2 weeks. I think it was like maybe 12-ish days.
Cool.
But it was super fun.
Very cool. And so was that a summer program?
It was a Maymester.
Okay, very cool.
Yes.
And so then what class did you take while you were there?
So I actually did a German class. I have previously taken German just for fun here at CNU for the last couple years. So I took it as a German credit.
Okay, very cool. And so then how did taking a class abroad kind of differ from taking a class at CNU?
So going abroad, I was able to go with CNU professors. So I was very familiar with Dr. McInnes. And so I have taken German previously with him, but especially with different languages that you're learning, it is so much easier to learn and really apply the material, like the vocabulary, when you're being immersed into the culture.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier because here it's like you have to transition from like being in class and learning and speaking German, but as soon as you leave that room after the 50 minutes, it's just kind of hard to adapt to it. So it's definitely easier to learn there.
So were all of the students on the program taking the German class, or were there kind of options you had to choose from?
So there's multiple options. You can take it as a philosophy credit, and then also a German credit. So we still learned the same material, but just taking it as a German credit, you did essays in German versus English.
Cool. So it was kind of open to a few different options. Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. Because I definitely knew some people going on the trip, but I was like, I don't think that they spoke German. So very cool.
Yes.
So was there a favorite excursion that you all went on? What kind of housing did you stay at to kind of... Let me repeat that. Okay. Sorry. I'm going to go into something else. Okay. So with the classes that you took, what kind of was your day-to-day routine with those classes? Like, were you in a physical classroom, or were you going on excursions?
So at the beginning, when we got accepted into the program and so forth, before we left to Germany, we met once a month in the spring semester. So we met in February, March, and April. I believe it was a total of 3 or 4 times. And everyone met on campus, and the professors taught the material in the classroom setting. Just because we were only there for a couple weeks, they really wanted us to apply the material.
Right.
So we ended up doing that, and we had like little homework assignments that went with that. Really got everyone starting to think about different things. When we went to Germany, we had a schedule that they gave to us, so it was very detailed where we needed to be, what we were doing.
Yeah.
And the schedule was pretty much probably, I want to say roughly we were up by like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Which was very easy to do because of the time change.
Yeah.
And so we woke up early and we were out doing like different excursions. We did a lot of museums just because of the material we were learning. We did multiple different things, and then we had a free day. But around like 5 o'clock. It really varied, but most days it was like kind of 8 to 5. We were out doing stuff. After that, we were free to do whatever we would like. So a lot of us would go explore like Berlin when we were there, or other excursions that we decided to do ourselves.
Very cool. And then what was your housing like there? Were you in a hotel, or did you guys have like apartments or dorms?
The housing was very nice. I was very impressed. So everyone had one roommate. So I actually got to room with one of my best friends. Me and her room now. But me and her roomed, and it was a youth hostel.
Oh, cool.
Hostel, and so it was like a hotel. It was very nice.
Very cool. So it was just you all, and then did you get to meet any other like young adults while you were abroad there, like through the hostel or with classes?
Yes, we were. So we were able to talk to so many different locals, and even people coming from like Iceland and other areas that were visiting Berlin as well. So we were able to like facilitate some more conversation.
So going off of that, what is like a favorite memory you have while you were abroad?
So all of the memories I have are all positive. I loved every single thing. So picking just one is definitely difficult. But I would say probably we had one free day where it was a Sunday that we had off. And so a lot of people, because previously going onto the trip, I only knew 2 people, but everyone else, they were all from different backgrounds of majors. There was biology majors, psychology, all different types. And so through the trip, we were able to make a lot of different friends, and a group of us went and did some exploring in Berlin.
Oh, cool.
And it was such a fun experience. We went to a lot of museums, but just being able to navigate the train system and then the trams and all of that was definitely very interesting. And we were also able to visit a couple like of the churches, and so we were able to go up and then see the view, and some of my favorite photographs are from there. So it was just such a good experience to really explore the city on our own, because our professors definitely taught us well, because we had a week with them helping us, and then we were able to like apply what we learned from them.
Very cool. What was Berlin like? When I've been abroad, I met a few Germans that had kind of talked to me about Berlin and like how it had become very progressive like after the Berlin Wall was knocked down and everything. But like, what was the atmosphere there? Because it just seems so interesting to me. I definitely want to go there at some point.
Yes, Berlin was definitely, I was very nervous to go there, just because it's something brand new. I never was out of the country. This was my first time traveling. And then Berlin is such a big city. Mm-hmm. It definitely was something that I was not used to, because I'm from the country in the middle of nowhere.
I could kind of tell.
Yes. And so going to Berlin was so much fun. It was very diverse.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yes, super diverse. Definitely very busy. Everyone was definitely like a busybody. Like they knew exactly where they were going. Very good with like the train system, the trams and everything. And also, as far as like the progression and stuff like that, one of the things is we studied a lot of the Holocaust, as well as like the government, so the like totalitarian government, and how that applied like in previous history and how that impacted Germany. And one of the things that I found interesting is everyone's very open and understanding when it comes to past history, where they like really, they recognize the past, and they also have so many different museums, so many different like sites where like the Berlin Wall, where they tore it down.
Right.
It was actually on the line where our hotel was.
Wow.
Yes, so we just got to walk there, and there's like signs and like lots of education, because their goal is to make sure that does not happen again. And so I thought it was interesting, because I was very nervous going to all of the museums and stuff. But everyone really recognizes the history.
Yeah.
And there were so many different people in the museums.
Very cool, yeah. I mean, I would love to go to Berlin, but that from when I went to Spain when I was 17, I'd met a few Germans that lived in Berlin. in Spain, and they were kind of telling me about it a little bit. So it kind of confirmed what I had heard. So that's really cool that like they really embrace their history, and then you're also kind of taking a class about specifically like totalitarianism in Germany, and how it's affected modern day as well, it seems like. So very interesting. While you were abroad, were there any traditional cuisines you got the opportunity to try, or any favorite foods that you discovered?
Yes, there was so many good opportunities. Definitely a lot of variety. I would say my favorite was probably just the bratwurst, the
Mm-hmm.
curry bratwurst. It is so good. I normally am not big fan of it, but I tried it. It was really good.
I bet that's kind of what
Yes,
they specialize in.
they do. It's very
Yeah.
good. Yes.
Yeah. And then anything else like really unique that you got to try while you were there, or
The schnitzel was super good as
is
well.
that chicken with
It's pork.
pork? Okay.
Yes, it's almost, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of baked like a steak almost. It's super good.
Mm.
And there was like potato salad. There were so many different things. Everything
Yeah.
was super good. And their coffee was very
Wow.
good.
Very cool. Very cool. Kind of transitioning into more of the funding side of things. You received three different scholarships that you worked hard to apply for. So, what were those scholarships, and what did the process look like to apply for those?
Yes, so I'm very blessed that I was able to receive those scholarships. I received the Fund for Education Abroad, the Gilman Scholarship, as well as the Captains Abroad Scholarship. And the processes were different for each scholarship. So, firstly, the Gilman, I was able to work with the scholarship coordinator at Study Abroad. And I received help with those essays when it came to kind of brainstorming ideas, getting feedback. I think that was very important. I started very early in the semester because I heard about the trip to Germany and that was just on my bucket list. But I truly did not think I was going to be able to financially do it after attending a couple meetings. And so being able to really sit down with the study abroad office and them helping and giving me resources for these scholarships
Yeah.
were very, very helpful. So for the Gilman, I started really, really early. I want to say I started in September, like early September. And I just kind of read over the prompts and did my own like brainstorming and created an outline for, there's three separate essays that you have to write. And so I created an outline and then I took it to the advisor just to get feedback. And then I kind of just slowly worked on it throughout the month and a half ish before I finalized it.
Uh huh.
And then for the education abroad, I also did the same thing where I kind of just brainstormed how I can connect because each of their prompts were very different. So one of the prompts were why they think it's important to study abroad. And so I used my experience with communication major and kind of like intertwined that and how it's important to be exposed to other cultures to help intercultural communication. And then for the captains abroad, I did the same thing.
Yeah. Cool. And then once you receive those scholarships, didn't you have to like do some upkeep kind of with them? You wrote a blog. What else kind of did you do?
Yes, so for the captains abroad scholarship, that was just a grant, so I didn't have to do any work afterwards. But for the fun education abroad, I had to do when you have to do a phone interview after you do the application. And so once you get approved, you go through an interview process. And during that interview, they ask you what you would like to do if you do receive the scholarship and how you would like to help other students apply as well. And one of the things that I discussed doing was a blog. And so they have a website dedicated for everyone who decided to do a blog where you upload, depending on your length of program. My program was only a Maymester, so it was 2 weeks. So I only had to do a total of 4 posts. And I had to do that before I left abroad, I had to do um, a, a vlog. So, like, actually me, like, in the camera and stuff. And then I had to do 2 posts as well as the final when I came back from abroad. So that was a super fun experience. And then for the Gilman Scholarship, you have to describe one of the essays. There's 3. The third essay is describing your follow-on project. So when you come back from campus, you have 6 months to complete whatever you articulate in doing to help promote the scholarship for others. And so right now I'm doing outreach for like flyers. I'm doing presentations for classes just a few minutes before classes, as well as trying to reach out with other departments like financial aid, admissions, trying to reach out to the students that will qualify for some of the scholarships like first generation or Pell Grant receiving students.
Okay, very cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I mean, it's not often that somebody receives and earns as many scholarships as you do. I mean, it is definitely great to apply for scholarships, but that is such a unique experience. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but your entire program was funded for with the help of the scholarships, correct?
Yeah. Yes, it was. It was.
Wow, yeah, that is amazing. And you also put the effort into go and get help from the study abroad office and write the essays, and then as well as help promote those scholarships after you received them to then let other students get the same opportunity you did. So that is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing about that. So kind of to wrap things up, how do you feel that studying abroad kind of impacted you personally and professionally, as well as maybe what's one tip of advice that you would give to future study abroad students?
Studying abroad is definitely an opportunity that I am so beyond grateful and blessed that I was able to do with the help of the scholarships and the study abroad office helping me as well. I think one of the most important things for me at least is I never was able to go outside of the country and travel and really see other cultures. And so going to Germany was eye-opening for me just to see how different little things are. Like some things here that we just like the cultural norms and values and traditions and everything, and how every single culture has their own. It was eye-opening to see that and be immersed into the culture. My grandmother, she's an immigrant from Germany.
Wow.
That's one of the reasons why I took up learning German as well as going to Germany on my bucket list. And so I was able to learn a lot more about my heritage and even her life, like some of the stuff. My father went to Germany and lived there for a couple of different years throughout his lifetime. And so one of the things is in Nuremberg, I was able to see the soccer field that he did his tournaments
Wow,
on.
that is such a cool experience. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Or not soccer, it's football there.
Okay,
but see the little
little things, yep.
Yes. So it was just such a good experience, and I was able to meet so many people on the trip that are also CNU students. We still are friends. And so it was very excellent to go. And then for professionally, I want to do human resources.
Wow.
And so being able to understand and really the exposure of different cultures will help me better connect with others. Mm-hmm. Not even just native Germans, but just any culture, because going there made me realize that America has their own cultural norms and values, but there's so much more than just this little bubble.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely going to help me as I go forward in my career, is just understanding the differences, but looking at it as a good thing and not a bad thing, and valuing all the other cultures and not just looking at myself and what I've experienced.
Wow, great. And then just one tip that you would give to future study abroad students.
I would say definitely plan ahead when it comes to luggage, because one of the biggest tips of advice is when buying souvenirs. It's very fun and everything, but make sure you weigh the suitcase, because I learned the hard way where coming back I went over the 50 pounds. And so I learned my lesson really quick because it was very expensive. So I think just planning ahead with making sure you have like the correct clothing for the weather as well. And also for like the luggage and the weight limits and stuff, because that's a hard lesson I learned.
Yeah. What's one thing you would have left out if you could have gone back?
I think I just brought too much clothes.
Yeah.
Way too much. And also it was not really for the weather either. And so it was very cold. And I didn't have a lot of cold clothes. So definitely like I would definitely change what I packed, as well as making sure I weigh like the souvenirs and maybe be a little bit more smart with what I end up getting and stuff.
Totally understandable. Well, Cheyenne, I really appreciate you coming on the show today. And with that blog that you mentioned, we'll definitely link that because that's also a really great opportunity for students getting to read kind of the experiences that you had to go on. So once again, thank you so much for coming on to Boarding All Captains.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.